Hello and welcome to Hull Seahawks Behind the Curtain, episode 42. Back in the lovely Blink Studios, joined by Matty Davis and Bobby Chamberlain. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. It's nice, and it's first visit. How you find it?
Yeah, it's good. It's a good setup you got, yeah.
I say we've quite enjoyed it in here, other than maybe sweating when HUEY was here.
Yeah, it's been nice though, and it's good to not talk over the computer and have my kids' stuff in the background and that. Professionalise, you know what I mean?
When we get Martin in here as well, he won't sound like he's from Mars.
Yeah, that'll help.
It will help. A little bit like what we did with Aaron Sobchak on the previous episode. We're just having a bit of a chat, a bit of a roundup. And I say it's been a very busy time. Announcements and whatnot. What have you thought of the off-season so far, Bobby?
Yeah, well, to be honest, you put a lot of players out at the start, didn't you? Like we had most of the core coming back, getting announced and stuff. So and then we've had some more recently, and then we've got some big ones coming up as well. So yeah, it's been good. I've been looking forward to. Obviously, I was one of the first ones, wasn't I? So it's a lot easier for me just to sit back and just watch all the other announcements. So no, it's been good. Sit
back, taking it all in almost.
Yeah, we'll speak to Matty all the time anyway. So players in signing, coming, going, and all that. I can imagine it's quite stressful.
All sorts going on.
Yeah. 1 minute the team's looking one way and then the next it's changing, and it's
one player swing and it changes a lot.
That's it, just a deck of cards almost, one falls, who knows what might happen. But we've had a couple of obviously the new signings here on the pod in the studio. We'll talk about one of them first. Got to know him quite well, I think. Now, you know him quite well anyway, of course, as a teammate. But we had a good chat with HUEY in here as well. How excited are you for his return?
It'd be good. Yeah, be good to have HUEY back. Obviously, me and Matty played with him, so we know what he's all about. And people keep asking me, "Oh, what's it going to be like with HUEY?" But he was our coach, wasn't he, for 3 years, and we actually got on great, didn't we?
Yeah.
I think people seem to because you play against each other, they think that's how it is off the ice, but there's loads of people it's totally opposite, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Yeah, you just don't think of it, nothing like that comes into it. We've played with him, won with him. It's like people said, oh, can't believe he signed. It's just no-brainer. Everyone would.
I was going to mention actually. I think we sort of led into it that when we had HUEY in here in the studio, didn't we? A few days before it was announced, and obviously the excitement we had here. Obviously, I never want to go on and I'll never pick individual comments out from fans, but were you surprised by some days? It was half backlash, half celebration, wasn't it?
I said to Cal this is going to kick off, and when I meant that, I knew. Look. To be as nice as I can, there's always going to be fans out there and I'm not going to say they don't understand or they don't fully, but if you don't think HUEY's a good signing, forget everything else as a player, then in my opinion, you don't fully know the game. HUEY is someone that every other team in the league would sign if they could. He's someone that's proven, been there, done it, elite league, this league. The fact he's 40 is irrelevant, in my opinion. He's still got enough game. I actually think he's going to be better this year again than he was. Obviously, last year we saw it was issues going on. He had some niggles. Him and HUEY, great together. You know what I mean? That's what we, look, what we didn't have last year, I don't think is enough quality in depth. And I think what we saw at the end of the year, without Bob being fully fit, I think you're basically looking at Sobs and trying to do a lot of it on his own when Emmy wasn't quite in the game either. And Finn trying to do a lot of it on his own. Sort of on another line. We just didn't have enough sort of cohesion throughout the lineup, and we needed someone or more players that can play well with each other on lines. And I think it's not just about who people think is really good. I know what HUEY, I've played with him, so I know what he's like on the ice within a shift, a game. He's quite laid back and he's smart, so he's easy to play with. Some players people might think are good players, but actually to play with them might be a different story. So I think knowing players and understanding how they play and what players we have it's about getting the right mix of player, not just signing willy-nilly players who people think. And I know, like I say, it's important. Biggest thing for me in the game nowadays is centres and having good centres. And if you don't have that, I think you will find that you struggle. We didn't really have a proper second-line centre last year, and it massively hurt us, especially in the big games. And I think, I tried to play Finn there. Thought he did a great job, but obviously we know what happened with Finn, but we won't talk about that. But sort of, we needed that proper centre. And I think, again, like I say, the HUEY signing, there's always going to be people like that, but I don't know. It's people. People have these opinions on players, don't they? I don't necessarily think the best players are always the ones that are liked that much. To be quite honest, I think
you've said it before. We don't care if people, even as a club or as individuals, don't care if people like us.
No one's ever liked me, really, have they? So it's just the way it goes. We're for one thing, it's to win. That's all I'm bothered about.
And I think when a few people watched the episode, Bobby, it did swing a few people's minds when he was chatting about how he's been texting Sdeck and he still gets on with some of you guys. And the understanding, I think we mentioned, the game against the Dogs last November where it all kicked off and there was 6 6-match penalties. And, just hearing it from his side, I think sort of calmed a few people down, brought people round, but they're obviously hearing it from your side as well. That's just a game, innit? He's on the opposite end of the ice. He's going to do what he can do for his side. You're doing that. You and Sdeck are doing the same on our side. Despite what people in the stands think, obviously you're the ones on the ice. You understand what's going on. Yeah,
and actually, because their team weren't that strong last year, and in that game he just was in our head, wasn't he? And we just couldn't score that game. Dima as well. Wasn't it? We've seen Dima 100 times against us where we just can't get one past him, and 50, 60 shots, haven't we? And he's just having a worldie. And HUEY just took over the game, got in our heads a bit, and that's just one thing he can do. Like, he's such a quality player, but he can get under your skin as well.
He's a winner, and he finds ways to do things like that.
Yeah, he does.
Sometimes I think what we didn't have last year was a player like that, with that knack. That's, and similar with the Dave thing. Like, these players are players that have had to change and be different players for different teams, and on teams that our players are better than them. So like HUEY can come in and do jobs like that I don't think we had, last year. So like you're saying, goes same with Bob. Like, we've got a lot of players on our team that are winners, and that's what he is, and we need more of them players, in my opinion.
But it's like Dave as well, isn't it? Like, obviously we've got Sdeck and Brock was at times, but when you got that D man, you're just like, he's gonna if you got your head down, he was gonna take a run at you. Like Sdeck was such good at hitting money, but like Dave's like a class hitter as well, so that would be good to see him. And I think he'll catch a few people this year, but they won't keep their head down for long, will they? Like, I watched him in the World Championships, and the way he just closes that gap, he's good, So I think he's going to catch a few people out early this year.
I think a bit of a steal for this level. I think that'll be what people. I think obviously Hull fans are going to be really excited, but other people around the league, what do you think they're going to think of the signing of Dave?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, that it might take him. It might have a bit of a slow start with adapting to playing such different minutes, won't he? And he might be on the power play and the penalty kill more and different type of role here than he would be at like a Belfast or Steelers. But I think once he gets adapted and understands the league more, I think he'll be class for us.
It's what said when Dave was here. A current GB international at this level should make such an impact.
Yeah, like people's opinion on it, again, they, more than in the right to have an opinion. Whether they think it's a steal at this level, or people think, he's older and he's not as good as what people think. It's irrelevant, really. I think it speaks for itself. Like you just said, he's GB international. Could quite easily go back to the elite league now. Look, it's in my opinion, it's massive signing. There's no D-men in the league that are of that level. that can play like Dave, which is essentially like real hockey. There's a lot of D-men that are good and can do like Brock, but Dave is, he's a real D-man, a real proper, can play in real games and do a proper job on D. And I don't think there's any in the league that has that at that level.
We struggled a bit last year, didn't we, at times in the big games, like on D, just where we just didn't have the depth, and them two just logged that many minutes, didn't they?
Too many minutes, yeah.
And we had to put them on that much that obviously they was just tired by the end of the game or whatever. If we needed a goal in them big games, it just, like when you play MK, they've got 6-7 D-men, haven't they? We're rolling 4, it just killed us a bit.
As you mentioned MK there, I think we'd have to pick up on it. We mentioned it with Owen in the previous episode. Cup final as well, of course. It's something we've never really discussed with a lot of the players. I think it was obviously such a difficult sort of week. As me and Matty obviously had a chat about it, but now it's all, it's been a few months back. Players have decompressed. I think it's time to maybe ask a few of the guys now about those 2 games, because it's against your old club as well, and we went in really confident that we can get the job done. And I think for a lot of the times, particularly for the first leg, it looked like that was showing. We were 4-3 up until about 9 seconds. Madness at one point. But
I know it's easy to say, if we'd have just done this or if we'd have just done that. But I think we really deserved to win that first game. I think we had them ending at times, and somehow I don't know how they managed to win that first game. And the second game we didn't deserve to win, did we? They did want it more than us, and I think in that second game the depth really showed. And I think like myself and a few others, the topper end players, they didn't really step up either. But I think it was just a collective. Just couldn't get anything going really. We just couldn't get the momentum, and I think with their 4 lines just rolling on us, I think it just took its toll.
I think you might summarise sort of the end of the season a little bit in a similar way for both sides. That week might have just took its toll on both sides as well. Neither really got on the roll then going on into the playoffs as well. It really sort of took a lot out of both sides.
Yeah, I know. We really did try and push for the playoffs against Peterborough, and even that game at home, we deserved to win. I know we went to overtime and we got beat, but we really did deserve to win, and I think we just couldn't get it done. I don't know if it was depth or tiredness, bit of everything, I think, and just Peterborough just played a certain way, and they just got their chances on the rush, didn't they, and scored. That's Slava hockey though, isn't it?
Nice, mate.
And they went on to win it, didn't they? So somehow.
Obviously, what happens, but I don't know. You say that Slava hockey, they found a way to win. Get in our place and then roll on a similar sort of way through Coventry as well. But on a personal, on the playoffs, so you'd had such a tough February and March with the shoulder, and then playoffs just ignited.
I know. I just wish I had a bit more time before the cup game. I was just trying to get back fitter. Just needed the game time. We was running all the time, and I just needed that time. I was just trying to get back, and obviously, playoffs come at like a good time for me. But it was just I just couldn't get it done quick enough for the cup games really. But hopefully, hit the ground running this season, feeling good.
Yeah, I think people. I don't think people realise what Bob actually did this year, and it was quite stupid really. But that's him, innit? But no one else would have. And what he did to get back right and fit for the end, after being out and being so because it was obviously it was his shoulder, but there was he had some other stuff, and it was struggling. It was tough time at that point, but gritted through it, and that's honestly going back to cup final. Not having Bobby fully fit, and every time we played him before that, we'd had our Bobby fully fit, we'd have Finn going, we'd have so maybe we just want ready to win that second game, and I think obviously what the work he put in to get right for the playoffs is actually more annoying, because it just proves that we had everyone there, but we just didn't do enough, and that's why I just think we need but we need a change for this year to get them main games that happen, them cup finals and playoff games. You need everybody, but you need your top players to be willing to win. And you don't have to play your best game, but you've got to be willing to win and do what it takes. And I think that's such a shame that we didn't get through that, because he was firing, Tobbs was back, Emmy was playing well. We just, like you said, we just didn't win that Saturday game, and we really should have. And we would have won on the Sunday for sure.
On those three, we've seen probably with most teams probably half a roster built now. A lot of sides are keeping top lines together. When you've got Owen Sobchak, top of the league in points per game, Emil Sdeck, third in the league in point scoring, and then if you've got a fully fit Bobby showing what he can do in the playoffs, led the whole playoffs in points. It's frightening, as you say, if you add that depth below that as well. That's going to be what takes it up another level.
Yeah, I mean, look, we don't know exactly where the lines are going to be, but I like them three together when they're all playing, at their best, and when they're all skating and going. They'll all get 100 points. There's no doubt about that in my mind. When they're all playing the right way, and obviously with that as well, you've got another line to come in that can all get mixed up and all that. But we've got, in my mind anyway, six players there that can all put points up, big points, and obviously with Sobs and Bob, like, it's reminds me of me and him a little bit, and once they get that right, it'll a full season together, it'll be frightening.
How are you planning to spend the off season? I know it was you down at the fan event last week. How good was that, by the way? Seeing so many people there.
Yeah, I was surprised, to be fair. It was good to see all the fans, to be honest. Yeah, hopefully we'll have a few more events booked for the summer and the start of next season. But yeah, like Matty was said like 100 times, and obviously you've all said, and Cal said that we're just growing the fan base and growing the club, and everything just heading in the right direction, and more professionalism, and everything's just heading the right way. So obviously we've just got to put the product on the ice as well. That's the biggest thing, because the fans want to see a winning team. Yeah,
that's
it. Good, really.
When you're not on the ice, of course, work, but what are you going to spend your bit of time off during the summer? I've spoke to Owen, and I spoke to Geordie as well.
What's Owen going to be doing?
Well, Owen's going to be playing golf, is what I've been told.
Bob will be running.
I've got the trainer here. Yeah, so.
No, look, I think for me, like, I always say this to Bob, but like, I don't know how to put this without sounding like a psycho, but you should never measure yourself on other people and what they are. I've always been in his head about this, but like, he needs to be at that point where he's trying to reach to be the best, and like, in my opinion, if he's fit, how I know he can get fit, he can be a different level on the ice. I don't think we saw that at all last year, and which is a good thing. 80 points or whatever he got, barely fit and barely playing his best at all. At times we saw him good, but like that, I think it's a drop in the ocean for what he is. So it's big year, and he cares about it a lot more than most. So he wants to be firing and ready to go, and other people can have fun in the summertime, but some people need to do it the right way and be more professional and take it seriously, and that's how Bob is. So yeah, I mean, look, you need a bit of downtime away from it, but we're back on the ice now anyway, so we're back playing and trying to get right for the year.
No, one thing we have mentioned a little bit throughout the last year or so was obviously yourself and Deck on those 2 ways of Manchester. The past year, of course, you did get a bit of ice time. I think a few games of those throughout the season. Any more talk on whether that will continue, or obviously I think it's something you want to do, isn't it? To keep pushing yourself that way. But
yeah, it was just obviously it's a long way to go and stuff like that. But yeah, I always said to him, if there was ever short on players and we didn't have a game or whatever, we can work something out. And I did play a few games and it was all right. They was happy with me and I enjoyed playing. But obviously when they've got so many imports, they was carrying spare imports as well, so it's a bit difficult to get higher up in the lineup and stuff. So I wasn't going to just go there and sit on the bench really. So yeah, I said to him, when the time's right, I'll come and play. But I won't say too much because I don't know about if they've said about the rules and stuff. But I don't know if we'll be doing that this year. But we'll see about that because I think they've changed the rules, haven't they?
Yeah, we'll see. I think, like, for me anyway, I've always said, like, I'm more than happy for him to go. You know, I don't think Sdeck was too bothered really, but Sdeck plays enough minutes for me. I'd rather he just stayed here. To be fair, we're going to need him massively next year as well. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like, for him, he loves hockey. So if he can get out there and play, he could play in the elite league easily. But he's smarter than that, isn't he?
I think that's pretty much where I think we'll leave it there then, gents. It's been a pleasure to have you both back in the studio. Great to have you on the podcast, Bobby, as always.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Make sure...
Con, what do you think to the team?
What do I think to the team?
I'm putting it back on you now, mate. Come on.
As in how the off-season, the squad that's been put together, I'm excited. I think all fans should be. I say it's similar to what Owen said on the last episode. The nucleus is the same. It's exactly where it needs to be, but it's adding those heads. Huey, adding Dave, adding Dima to push Geordie all the way. It's exactly what's needed. Just as a fan who just waffles on a little bit with myself.
Hey, that's why we do these things, innit? We want to know what people think, and we're putting it out there.
But it's good, innit? Like, you got Dima to push Geordie. Like, there'll be Sdeck and Dave. There's me and Huey. Like, me and Huey always went like in-house competition with the scoring and stuff. So even though we play on the same line, we were still, we both wanted to be the big dog, and we got on great anyways. But that's what you need, I think.
You do need that more sort of competition in training, making training harder that way. Yeah. For Geordie, like you just said, Geordie and Dima, that'll be great. Just having like two goalies of that quality. Yeah, and just in general, just people. Like, the better you get, the more good players you've got on the ice, the level just goes up. And yeah, it's good.
I'm sure you spoke about training with Huey. Did you speak about that? Yeah, about how hard training was and stuff.
Yeah. We mentioned it a little bit, but yeah, I say it's as you say, it's that competition. Yeah, everyone's it's a different type of competition to what we just talked about with Dave, but everyone pushing each other. That's what's needed for you guys, but. I think with these signings as well, as we mentioned, obviously the Huey backlash, but we talked a little bit about when Dima signed as well. There was a few, little whispers, but it's that thing. It's obviously you're making big calls, hard calls that are there to support the club. It's if every signing was just a simple one, you probably wouldn't be doing.
Someone's got to do it, haven't they?
Yeah. Got to keep it interesting, haven't
Someone's got to do it, yeah. So, it's looking up, innit, let's be honest. And looking forward to the summer. We've got obviously some events coming up, and and obviously we're going to try and bring as many of these content and keeping everyone updated on what's going on.
Yeah, so it's not just the pod content, there's some little bits coming as well. Callum's sat in the corner, he's smiling away, but there'll be some fun little snippets, little games and stuff for the players and whatnot.
What are you doing for the summer then?
What am I doing for the summer? Working. Working and baking sausage rolls.
Yeah, drinking Monsters.
Bacon sausage rolls.
Bacon sausage rolls. Callum's turned me down. Yeah, Callum's turned me down.
Graft house stuff for you, innit, soon?
At some point. I'm sure we'll get down.
I'm
sure we'll get down. But that's pretty much all we've got time for here on Hull Seahawks Behind the Curtain. This has been episode 42 with Bobby Chamberlain. I say it's been an absolute great one once again here in the Blink Studios. Make sure you're joining us soon again on YouTube and Spotify or wherever else you get your podcasts from. Like, share, follow and subscribe. And as Davey Phillips said, comment down below as well.